Department observed its annual World Town Planning and GIS Day on November 16th and 17th. As part of its activities to raise awareness on the importance of planning and geographic information systems, the department had an opening ceremony and a two-day interactive display. I'm pleased to bring you highlights from that ceremony and from the interactive display as students and the public had an opportunity to learn more about the services provided by the Town and Country Planning Department as well as other agencies that use GIS systems.
My name is Greg Adams. I'm the chief planner, and I won't be long because it's intended to be a brief ceremony, but I would like to highlight one key element that I think would be of interest to most, if not everybody here this morning. As most people know, for the last, almost 30 years, we as a territory have been trying to incorporate physical addresses in the territory. And I'm happy to say that within the last month or so, we've had some, what I would call, very significant movements towards actually getting that initiative on the ground. And I think it's very timely, as we celebrate GIS and Planning Day today, that the timing of that movement. When I speak about physical addresses, I'm sure most of you have traveled and you know each house has a number on a street in most developed countries in the world. But here in the BVI, whenever we have to give directions to where we are, it's go up the street. When you see a tree, you turn left, and then you see a greenhouse and you make a right, and then you go till you see the guy sitting down in a corner, and then the house is across from him. But if the guy get up from around the corner, then the person who you're giving the directions to is lost. So beyond that though, we see from where we sit from a professional standpoint, we see a very dire need to have physical addresses. And it benefits everything from emergency services, fire, police, medical services. It benefits just the general business in the country. If you ought to own a restaurant and you wanted to do food delivery to homes or businesses, it makes your life easier. But I would like to leave a small nugget with especially the younger students in our audience this morning. As Troy said, we've been celebrating GIS Day for the last 17 years. And I've been around planning in the BVI since the late 80s, early 90s. We actually started working with GIS in or around 1992, 93, in that time frame. So it's been well over 20 years since we've been working with GIS. But it's my opinion that we haven't scratched the surface of what this tool has to offer us as a territory. There are places that use GIS for planning routes. If you have a bus service, you could use the maps to determine what's the fastest route or how long a bus route should take so that you could plan and tell people the bus will be here at 9:12 a.m. based on all the other factors that you have to consider. And so there's a lot of entrepreneurial opportunities as well. So I would like for you, as you go through the exhibits that you see today, try to keep that in mind.
With some exciting new developments happening with geographic information systems, let's go inside and hear from some of the booth exhibitors about what's happening with GIS.
Survey plans are normally produced by a surveyor. Anyone could say what a surveyor does? Or ever seen a surveyor?
He goes over the land to find perimeters, to tell the person how much space, and tell the person the topography of the land.
Very good. So with all of that, he produces a map.
I'm here with the Chief Planner of the Town and Country Planning Department, Mr. Greg Adams, as the territory celebrates yet another World Town Planning and GIS Day. Tell us about this observance and the significance of geographic information systems to the territory.
Well, for us, geographic information systems is about the middle word, information. We don't just rely on the maps to be pretty, we rely on good information from the maps to help us make better decisions. So every improvement that we can get from the technology of GIS helps us to make better planning decisions. So I'm always excited to celebrate GIS Day because I like to see the advent of new technology, new ideas, new techniques to help us, continue to improve our decision making.
The territory is also celebrating World Town Planning Day. It's actually combined. The department usually combines both days. What is the importance of planning to the department, to the territory, to everyone? Why should people be concerned with development control and planning and management?
As we've been saying probably for the last year and a half or two, is that planning is not about me today, it's about us tomorrow. In other words, that means it's everybody's business. The things that one person does on their property has a direct or maybe even indirect impact on the surroundings. So it's important for us to keep planning at the forefront of everyone's mind so that we can all be enlightened and aware of the things, the do's and the don'ts, pretty much so that we can create a more sustainable built environment for us and the future generations as well.
Thank you, Mr. Adams.
Thank you for having me.
We are in the middle of the beginning of World Town Planning and GIS Day observances by the government, by the Town and Country Planning Department and its partners. And with me is Nancy Pascoe. She is from the National Parks Trust. And Nancy, we know that GIS is an integral part of the National Parks Trust, and it is very important for even planning development and different things that happen in the territory. Give us a snapshot of what is going on with your exhibit and the information that the National Parks Trust has been sharing about its use of GIS systems.
Yes, of course. Well, thank you. We use the GIS to map endangered plant species. We map native plants, the vegetation habitats. So today you've heard from other departments about mapping the land. Well, we look at what's on the land, the habitats, the species that live on the land. And this is what then it informs what should become a national park. What do you want to protect? What is special and unique about the BVI and the biodiversity? We look at historic sites. So we have the copper mine in Mount Healthy, but we also do mapping overall the BVI to look at what other historic sites might want to be included. We've done marine mapping, bathymetry mapping. Some of my displays here are showing you what's under the water, which you might not really think about. But we've worked with partners in the UK to map the seabed, looking at where is seagrass, coral reefs, and also the depth of the water, which can help prevent ship groundings. Because some environmental disasters, like you'll hear from conservation, oil spills happen when ships run aground because they don't know how deep the water is. Some of our maps are based on 1800 lead lines, so it's outdated data. So having up-to-date data is very important, which is why each of our departments are responsible for certain data sets. So we also have the boundaries of where national parks are, how many they are and where they are. Are they on land or on the sea? So we're very excited at the national parks to use GIS and GPS because it's a very important tool to show people a map which can show what words can't say. You can't always take someone into the field with you to show an endangered plant, but you can show them a map of where it's located and if it's on their property. So when there's developments that come in, we look to see, are there endangered plants on that property? If so, can we go and save them? Can we collect the seeds? Can we collect the plant so it's not lost? Because in some cases, that might be the only plant in the world in that location. The BVI has some very special plants. So we hope you come in and enjoy our displays today.
Thank you so much for speaking with us and highlighting the adage that a picture speaks 1,000 words. One of our booth exhibitors at the exhibit for World Town Planning and GIS Day is the Water and Sewage Department, and representing that department as well as being a member of the National Geographic Information Systems Committee is Mr. Desron Brannigan. Mr. Brannigan, Could you share with our viewers the use of GIS within the department and what information you are sharing with the public and with students today?
What I have on display is actually the sample points that are on Tatola, all the sample points that the lab tech goes out and sample water each week. Also, I have all the reservoirs in the BVI. There are actually 12 in all, as well as this is just a survey of the meters in East End from the bridge to the police station, as well as some proposed maps that we had in plan for extension of water lines, and a map for recovery of some of our water valves and hydrants that got covered up due to the pavement of the road in Carrot Bay.
Thank you so much for speaking.
Thank you.
I'm here with Mr. Aldrin Rapsat, and he works with the Inland Revenue Department and GIS and tax. Explain how that works. GIS and tax collection, how does it work with the department?
That's a very interesting question. The Inland Revenue Department is tasked with administering and collecting of taxes across a wide variety of bases, whether it is property, payroll, liquor license, or motor vehicle, HAT, whatever. I am in the property tax unit, which is responsible for collecting land and house tax information. We use GIS information mostly within that unit. First of all, to help us identify, locate, and ascertain property ownership. We work very closely with the Land Registry Department, Town and Country Planning, as well as survey departments to get that information, and we use it to produce our property tax list, an example of which is highlighted here on the poster. Furthermore than that, when we are going out into the fields to capture house information, we often walk with equipment such as the Trimble Nomad GPS unit, or a cell phone, whether iPhone or Android, equipped with the latest GPS capturing software. We take that information, ascertaining the ownership name, the location, acreage, and so forth, bring it back to the office and use it to compile our records. At the moment, I would say that GPS is still in its infancy in its use in our department. We do hope eventually to use it for the other tax bases, but for now it is primarily around property tax.
Thank you for speaking with us.
You're welcome.
Mr. Pan, we are in the height of the Town Planning Department's observance of World GIS and Town Planning Day. We have the students, we have your exhibits, it's open to the public. Tell us about planning and its significance, the importance of this day. The department has been celebrating for a number of years, and every year is something new, something exciting, something different.
Yeah, it's something different, but the overall goal remains the same: to use GIS as a foundation and build on that with how it could be applied to planning and obviously all the other different areas in government. But specifically planning, using that mapping layer as a foundation and then integrating with other planning software, we could see now how we could reimagine spaces. The spaces all around us, and this is what it's all about: pushing the technology and using the technology to better all of our lives. So you could look at a blank area or existing area, road, town, or look at any reclaimed area or any hillside area, any community in the BVI, and you could say, well, listen, how could we reimagine this space? How could we make this space better? what software do we need? What things do we need? Who do we need to talk to? How do people use a space? So this is what it's all about. So I'm always excited when this time of the year comes around, and I'm excited today, and especially to see all the students and know all the knowledge that is getting shared to the other generation. That's very important.
What are some of the technologies that are on display today as it relates to GIS and planning?
We have the always the foundation, the GIS mapping and analysis software. So that allows us to pull up aerials and pull up different features, contours, roads, all the different features of any area. So obviously the BVI will see what we're working with. It's always important to know what you're working with, lay that out on a blank canvas, and now we have specifically for the planning a software called Lumia, which allows us to conceptualize different spaces. So we could put, using the existing layout, the foundation, we could put, if we want a bridge here, or we want a road here, or we want a new green space here, for example, or we want a new sidewalk or boardwalk, which is all the rage now in Rotown, building this boardwalk from the Tortola Pier Park straight to the Queen Elizabeth Park. We could envision that using that Lumia software. So that's the main software that we want to. And also we have the launch of the portal, which allows people to come and comment on different conceptual designs. So if you like a design that you see on the computer, you could comment and you could put that and say, well, look, I like this, or this is what I like, or this is what I don't like about it. And then we would collate those comments now, and we could use that to make informed decisions about planning. So that's the software that we're working with, and I'm excited.
We can see the excitement, we can hear the excitement, and we are hearing about the many services, new and improved services that are being offered by the Town and Country Planning Department. What would you like to tell the public about these services and accessing them?
The whole aim of the department is to be more accessible to the public and offer more and more services to the public. So what I'm particularly excited about and what I want to get out to the public is that we're moving rather swiftly now towards a subscription-based mapping service, web mapping service, which means that if you, as a private citizen, anybody wants to access and see a certain area of Tortola, say where you live, or if you're doing a research project as a student and want to see a particular area of the land and sea around Tortola, you could, right from home, you would be able now in the future to log on to the web. You type in our address, and then you'll see subscription-based service. You could click that. You could access whatever area, and then for whatever nominal fee, you pay that. You get that specific area, and then you could do your analysis and your research based on that. So that is where we're moving towards. So the first step to that, the major step towards that, was the launching of the web portal. We're trying it out within government first, and then once it's successful within government, then we take it out to the wider community. So that is, to me, that is the ultimate in making town planning, making GIS accessible to everyone.
Thank you for speaking with us today.
Thank you.
We also have a list of nodes.
What is your name?
My name is Gregory Levans.
And what school do you attend?
I attend the Cladder Creek Educational Center, which is located in Enigada.
You're here with your class at the World GIS and Planning Day. What are your thoughts about some of the exhibits that you've seen so far?
I think it's a good thing that they're doing this so we can learn about how mapping is important in society.
What is one thing that stood out for you from being at the display?
The sketching.
What is sketching?
The sketching, how it is with my subject technical drawing, and I have to do AutoCAD. So that really motivates me to do AutoCAD more.
Is there anything that you would like to tell your other classmates in terms of what you've seen today and sketching, or even the mapping information that you've learned about?
Yes, to really study their work and get any knowledge they have here.
you for having tuned into this Feature Highlights program as the Town and Country Planning Department observed World Town Planning and GIS Day. I've been your host, GIS Officer Nadia James Harris. Thank you for having tuned in.